What about us this time? Let's share this temperature with our high current connector, some relevant knowledge. What about the temperature we usually talk about? Contact us for selection. It involves two things. The first one is our ambient temperature. The second one is we work continuously throughout the electrical system because of this current. The heat generated, the additional temperature generated. So there are two things. The first one is ours, ambient temperature. The second is our operating temperature. What about these 2 points? What about our selection? It's important because everyone knows. The electrical connector is in operation. It has an important safety metric. It is possible that there may be a short circuit due to excessive temperature. Fire, burn. Some of our. For example, this battery of new energy is also good. New energy cars are also good. There are also some high-powered ones. Some of the motor systems used are also good. It often catches fire because of this overheating, cause some unnecessary losses. How about in our connector selection process? Think about it. Or this effect of this temperature? Here are some experiences you can share. Number 1. When we continuously select the type, we often take into account one of your ambient temperature. Normally, we talk about room temperature conditions. Or our ambient temperature? It's our workplace. It goes from -40 to 85. Or an environment like 125 degrees? This is our normal environment. But a lot of electrical systems, when it's working, or the environment in which it works, not exactly equivalent to this. This is the ambient temperature we're talking about. For example, we used to have some connectors. Its application environment. For example, some of our high-speed railways abroad, in some environments into the equator. In some of these hermetic mountains, long hours of work in the tunnel of the mountain. What about these ambient temperatures? It is related to the ambient temperature we usually talk about. There is a big difference. What about the effect of this temperature? Two things. The first, ambient temperature itself. We don't need to talk about that. The second point is because of the work of the connector, current and resistance. Based on us, it's a formula for power in physics. The resulting operating temperature? This temperature is essential for our continuous selection. Is it crucial? Under normal circumstances, when we select the connector, we will ask for it, customer or our application side, to indicate our operating current and operating voltage. Then the working current is determined. The more current, our temperature will be higher. But there is one. We are in the process of designing connectors. We often think about saying, our insulators or our wires and cables. It will have a temperature tolerance. Our products will have this aspect to consider. But temperature-dependent insulation, or the insulator of the whole product, it has many parameters, such as heat distortion temperature. Let's say our relative temperature index. What are the things that are extremely relevant to our temperature? Or is it related to security? So we're actually working in our connector. During the working process of the entire system, there are 2 points. First point, the actual product of this product, the heat generated by this job. Long term, this is the RTI index we often talk about, relative temperature index. And this measures a connector in a long-term environment. The state of security at work? What about this index? Often when we contact the selection, has it been ignored? How about more of us? From my personal experience, or get to know everyone in the industry, we pay more attention too. For example, The thermal deformation temperature SDT of engineering plastics? Or the temperature resistance of our material? But very, very few. Sometimes very little. Let's talk about this long-term stable operating temperature, RTI index. RTI index? There are several types of plastic we work with. The first one is 85 degrees centigrade, 105 degrees centigrade, or 125 degrees Celsius. How do you do that? Under special circumstances, our engineering plastics are all in this kind. I said above, one by one in these three situations. Then our general working environment temperature, between 40 and 60 degrees, because of the accumulation of ambient temperature. But our industrial high current connectors, because of the working conditions, because of the power. Under normal circumstances, we work under high current and high power. Its temperature rise is about 50 degrees, 30 degrees. It's between 50 degrees. Is this a safety index we need? What about this temperature rise? Indicators are also international or domestic standards. So add our ambient temperature, plus the ambient temperature of the working condition. Under normal circumstances, this connector is working for a long time. Its maximum temperature will reach 110, even 120 degrees. That's why we operate under high current conditions. We will specifically request the choice of materials and the selection of connections. I will make a temperature requirement. A very important reason. So how do you choose this temperature? This is related to our working current and voltage, are closely related. Then we will have some experience. Under normal circumstances, we're at, say, 50 amps. 50 amps under this working condition? We often think about saying, 50 amps is about how big a temperature rise is that. This is related to temperature. It's a very important metric. Temperature index. What about this temperature indicator? It measures. With my system stable, it takes about 4 hours to power on. Under the condition of stable work, its entire system will rise to a certain temperature. Plus my ambient temperature, it would be my entire electrical system. The final stable working state, like my battery pack. My battery system, in a long-term stable state of charge and discharge, 400 amps or 300 amps. In such a charged and discharged state, its temperature has risen to 50 degrees. Then in the south, extreme noon weather conditions, the ambient temperature is likely to reach 60 to 70 degrees. Then at this time, if it is in my system, my insulator, or Y times my speed limit, these insulating materials, if its relative temperature index. That's the RTI index. Below my 50 degrees plus or 70 degrees. Well, the whole system is highly probable. There are some hidden dangers. Of course, this hidden danger will not necessarily occur. It's just that in this place, it's going to be very risky. It will appear at this time. For example, our insulators start to soften. It's starting to produce thermal deformation. The temperature will start to get too high. If it takes too long, it will cause combustion or short circuit. So related to this, when we selected this material, we are in this particular working condition. When we selected this material, you have to think about it. The RTI index of this material, can it satisfy our customers? This definition of the application environment. How do you define that? First, we must consider the customer's application scenario. Point number 1. The ambient temperature of this scene must be taken into account. We have some customers. He will clearly define when applying our ambient temperature. What kind of situation is it? Maximum ambient temperature. For example, minus 40 degrees to 85 degrees. This is a condition we often define. The highest environment is 85 degrees good. The second thing is my operating voltage. Under normal operating current conditions, what's our extreme temperature rise going to be? This is what customers are more concerned about, or the app is very concerned. Then at this operating current. Okay, let's say we're working at 200 amps. 200 amps operating current. In accordance with our international standards, our highest temperature rise. The highest temperature rise is about 40 degrees. So in this case, our RTI index must meet not less than 85 degrees plus 40 degrees. The minimum is 125 degrees. So we are choosing a scenario like this. In such an application environment, if the customer has this demand, then the insulating material of our connector. The requirements for cable insulation materials must be met. RTI index at 125 degrees. At this time, if the customer is not careful, or some of our parts are lower than at this temperature, and that actually creates some risk points or a hidden danger. Well, the temperature thing. Well, that's about it. Thank you very much.